Hello, this is Yo Sensei. In today's tutorial, we will learn how to produce high-quality interior renderings using Twinmotion. Twinmotion 2023.1 supports Pathtracing and 2023.2 supports Lumen. This new rendering system gives you much more realistic lighting in your interior scene. Okay, let's get started. We are opening Twinmotion, and the version of Twinmotion that we use in this tutorial is Twinmotion Education 2023.2. Okay. So the first thing that we are going to do after opening this file is to import the file that is linked in the description section. So please download it. That would be Twinmotion interior render.fbx. You can open this. Today, we are going to use the option of keep hierarchy of collapse option. The difference between collapse by material and collapse by hierarchy is that when you do it as a collapse by material, Twinmotion is going to group all of the objects by material, and then you can only select by the material group. With keep hierarchy, you can access the individual object, and then it's going to organize objects by layer, so which is quite nice. So we're gonna keep hierarchy and then import. To find your object in Twinmotion, you can find your imported model and press F on your keyboard. So this is our file, and in this case we can just change the speed from one by pressing 1, 2, 3. So you can just press 3 for interior speed. So now we are in this space. The first thing that we are going to do is to add lighting material to it. So you can go into materials and then use neons, and let's use neon 2 for the lights, and then also the LED lights. Okay. At this point, this light is pretty dark, so you can change the glow value to something different, and then it gets okay. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. The next thing that we are going to do is to find the flooring material. So go to library, materials, and wood, and then find flooring material that works for you. So when you drag and drop this material to here, the proportion of it is wrong. And that is because Twinmotion is trying to use object UV. So in this case, change it to cubic UVs and then drag and drop the material again. In this case, I would like the grain of this material to be running in opposite way. So you can scroll down in the material section and then change the rotation value to 90. Okay, so that's good. The next one is this part that is going to be a kind of painted wall, plastic gray mat. You can go into materials and then plastic, go down and find rough plastic and then drag and drop it. And then change the color to something that you like. I like this blue-gray color, so you can just pick one. You can store these colors in here by clicking this button, so that would be, you can easily access that. In this file, what we have here is that we would like to run the grain of wood in two different ways. So there is wood furniture layer, and then there's also wood furniture B layer. So wood furniture B layer is going to run the wood grain horizontally, and then wood furniture layer is going to run vertically. So that's what we're going to do. So go to materials and find wood. Find that wood material that doesn't have grain. So in this case, I would like to use oak 3G or ash 5G, something like this. I am going to first drag and drop the ash 5G. Okay. And then in the material section, you can access it from the bottom. You can right click ash 5G and then duplicate. And then For the duplicate ones, you can drag and drop to the wood furniture A layer. And then in this case, you can just change the orientation of material by pressing 90. In this case, what we have is that we have a wood grain of this running in the longitudinal way, which is good. But in this case, this object is running a wrong material. So what you can do is to go into this section and then click on material replacement option. So instead of replacing material, you can click apply to object and then click on the drag and drop the object that has a different grain direction. In this case, what you can do is you can either choose to replace existing material and then apply with material group by clicking on this replace material, or you can apply to individual object by doing this, which is very convenient. That's nice. Next material, we are going to find fabric wool base. Yeah, that's pretty good. So I would like to use that and then change the color to be something that is a little bit darker. That's quite nice. And change material here. This material here, I would like to use metal and brushed aluminum for this. And for the picture frame, I would like to use the same painted wood, painted color. So I'm going to duplicate this dark blue material, place it here, and then apply something like black. For the window frames, I would like to find the metal that is galvanized steel and then apply darker color. So it's like a dark metal. And for the window, you can go to materials, glass, and clear glass. That's good. And here in the back, we can also duplicate this wall material, rough plastic material, and then apply this to kitchen counter and then use something like darker gray. And then in the back splash, you can just go and do tiles, maybe. Ceramic tile. This one's quite beautiful, so that's nice. Let's go into the bedroom area, and yeah, everything looks pretty okay. So we are going to go with that. And in this picture frame, what we have is this painted color. For now, we are going to create a new material by clicking standard and then apply this material. So inside of that material details under color, you can find a texture tab, and then you can open and then apply the image that came with tutorial file. And then in this case, what we can do is to change the scale of this object to something like small, 0.3, and then you can change the offset number so that it's going to land properly. Okay, yeah, something like this is okay for now. So that is pretty much how you do the materials. So the next thing is that we are going to set up some lights. So in this case, we have a few spotlights in here. So what we are going to do is to add spotlights into these places. So you can go into the lights tab and then find spotlight and then drag and drop to it. So we have one spotlight here. To duplicate spotlight in Twinmotion, what you need to do is to hold Shift key on your keyboard and then drag this object. And then it's going to ask whether you want to do it as instance or copy. And then in this case, what you can do is select instance, because when you copy this object as an instance, you can change the attributes of this light, and then everything is going to be the same setting. That's nice. So that is that. And then you can hold shift and then drag again to copy as instance. And then you can go into several different places to copy this. If you're not seeing this icon, what you can do is press G key on your keyboard, then it's going to show or hide. So hold shift again to duplicate as instance and keep going. Hold shift to duplicate as instance and hold shift and duplicate. In the back of this room, there are several spotlights that we can also duplicate. Click on this and then hold shift and duplicate this. And then we're going to go into this room. And then in this case, what you can do is to drag this middle circle and then drop to where the light should go. And then you can just rotate. Click on the rotate button and then rotate vertically. Hold shift to duplicate again. And then in this case, hold shift to duplicate, change angle, and then hold shift to duplicate, change angle. So that's pretty much how you set up these spotlights. So in this case, in this specific view, the lights are not really reading too strongly. So what you can do is click on one of them and then now let's try to turn on shadows so you can enable shadow. But it's not really doing much. So in this case, you can try increasing the intensity of this. And then right now it is 10,000 lumens. And it's not still showing that much. So you can try by adding one more zero. So 100,000 lumens. So that's going to give you some of the lights into the space, which is quite nice. 10,000, 100,000 lumens would be a good number in this case. Next thing is that we would like to set up some of the sunlight coming into the space. So in this case, what you're going to do is to click on the ambience of the scene from the right hand side and then go down on the environment and then first find sun north offset and then rotate the sun until you get the south side of the arrow is on the window side. So that this is the south side. And then you can go ahead and change the time of the day until the light is coming from the window. I think about 1 p.m. is pretty good. That is setting up the sun. Next, we are going to set up some area lights that will go coming in from the window. So what you can do is go into the library lights and then find area light. So area light is something that is going to produce more of a volumetric light. So you can bring it by the window and then get this to come inside. And then you can adjust the size of the area light to be slightly smaller so that it's going to be about the window size. Okay, and so it's going to come in like this and then comes down. Yeah, attenuation is the length of the light reaching. I want to change it to something like 10 meters, 15 meters, so that would be good. Again, for the area light, you can hold shift to copy as instance and then copy as instance again. Okay. So now we are going to go inside of the space and area light is coming in, but it's not really doing that much at this point. So what you can do is to again increase the intensity of area light to 100,000. If you do 1 million, that is a little bit too much, but again, you can change to turn on shadow. I think 1 million is actually good. Okay, 1 million, and then you turn on the shadow. That's going to give you really nice light and shadow coming into the space and a lot of definitions of the light. In this case, I would like to turn the color temperature a little bit lower to less warm. So that's going to give you less warm feeling and nice clean setting. That is good. Okay. The next setting that we want to change is to go to ambience and then go into the camera setting. And then right now, a lot of vertical lines in this space is reading a little bit off kilter. So you can go into camera effects and then find parallelism. And then this setting is going to make all of your vertical lines to be straight. This is quite nice. Then the next setting that we would like to do is to get some trees so that we don't really like to see empty windows. So go into the library, go to vegetation, find trees, and find some tree that is not too big. So you can change the age of the tree and then lower it, and so that you will be reading the tree of your window. So you can hold shift to copy as an instance a few times, and then you can change speed at this point to when you're doing something like this. Hold shift, copy as an instance, and make sure that your trees are not inside of the space. Oops. So when you're selecting multiple objects in Twinmotion, you hold Control to click other object, which is opposite of Rhino. You have to be careful about it. And again, you can select these trees, and then I'm going to move it slightly away from it. Okay. When we are inside, we are reading the trees, and then the trees are casting some shadows. I think that our area light is a little bit too strong, so you can go ahead and make it half a million, maybe 500,000. Yeah, so that would be pretty good. Okay. That's a pretty good setting. The next setting that we are going to test is to go into ambience, and then you can, under the render tab, you can select either Pathtracer, which is available on 2023, 2022, and then there is a Lumen. And the difference between these two are Lumen is a real-time light calculation engine, which is super useful and it's a lot faster. And Pathtracer is a CPU-based rendering that is going to take some time, but it produces a nice result as well. So let's try Pathtracer. And then it's going to take some time to render this, but it's quite nice. And then if you try Lumen, that is going to also produce this kind of result. Now what we are going to do is we are going to go into the media tab and then click on the new image. And then let's produce a Pathtracer version and then click on high, and that's going to be our first image. Okay. And then we will also create a version that is going to be Lumen. So whatever is available for you, you can use it. So to dress up this thing a little bit more, you can quit media mode, and then I'm going to place some objects. In this case, I'm going to put a person. Never use animated humans because they look really ugly. In this case, I'm going to select this person. She's wearing a backpack inside of the house. That's okay. And then I'm going to check it in this scene and then move this person. So what you want to do is to make this person very subtle. Never put your scale figure near the camera. And then also I would like to do some plants, so you can go back to library, type plants, and then find a nice monstera. That's quite nice. And then maybe we can place it somewhere out here. I don't like the planter, so I'm going to change the planter to be something like exposed aggregate concrete. So that's good. And let's put a cat. You can change it back to all. And then Felix the cat is here. So the cat is there. Okay. So now we are going to go back to either Pathtracing, and this one looks pretty good, and then Lumen version looks really good. We are going to go and export, and then select these two and export these ones. And then go down to export. When you have Lumen available to you, it's going to render faster, and Pathtracing is going to be a little bit slower. But the results are pretty good for both. Let's take a look at the result. Okay, so let's take a look at the results. This version is the Pathtracer one, and it creates this kind of very bright space. That's quite nice. And then the other one is Lumen. So they have quite different way of rendering, and it's really about your preference. But I think they do produce a pretty good result in terms of interior render for such a simple scene. I hope this was very helpful, and please use this in your project, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye bye.